Hey guys, Josh from SoccerReviewsForYou.com, bringing you my review plus on-feet video of the Nike Tiempo Legend 5 in the latest Electro Flare Pack colorway. Now inside the box they do include a string bag to go along with the shoes themselves. The string bag is black in color with Volt yellow strings. You're going to find your Tiempo branding in Volt on one side, and on the back of the bag you're going to find a single Volt yellow Nike swoosh. Other than that, all you're going to find inside the box, as you guys can see, are the shoes themselves. So we'll get these guys out of the box really quickly, and we'll take a closer look at what I think is a pretty good looking colorway of the Nike Tiempo Legend 5. So in today's video, we are of course going to take a closer look at the colorway itself. We're going to go over tech specs, the weight, and of course how these things fit and feel. So if you are interested in learning more about this particular colorway of the Legend 5, please stick around and watch the entire video. If you're interested in a pair for yourself, be sure to check out the review page on my website. That'll be the very first link down below in the description of this video. On that page you will find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes where you'll be able to pick these guys up below their normal $200 retail price. So again, if you're interested in a pair, first link down below, go ahead and check it out. And with that being said, let's get right into the review. To start things off, let's take a closer look at the colorway. Now of course, just like the rest of the Electro Flare Pack, it does have that paint splatter graphic, which is also Volt yellow in color. So it really pops against the darker base color, which is not black, it's actually anthracite, which we'll talk about in just a second. So the paint splatter graphic is featured on the rear heel portion of the shoe that actually is made of synthetic as opposed to kangaroo leather. You still have the Tiempo branding in Volt yellow there. You have the Volt yellow in the liner as well as the insole. And then of course, you do have the Volt yellow for the outline of the black Nike swoosh on either side, and the paint splatter graphic even continues onto the sole plate, which is a nice little detail. The one aspect of this colorway that is a little bit trickier to actually see in the online pictures, at least based on my experience, is that the shoe is more of a darker gray color as opposed to actually being black. You can see this pretty clearly in the video, I hope, especially against the black laces that come with the shoes. Those are clearly black. This upper is clearly like a dark gray, but just for the sake of kind of having a side-by-side comparison, here's a pair of black TechCraft Tiempo Legends, which side-by-side, again, hopefully you can very clearly see that the TechCraft ones are black and the new Electro Flare ones are kind of a dark gray color, which I think looks really cool. I actually am a big fan of the dark gray, and all in all, I think it's a pretty good looking colorway. A little bit flashy with the neon yellow on the heel, but fairly subtle as well with the kind of darker gray color for the rest of the shoe. So that's pretty much it in terms of the colorway. Let me know your thoughts on it down below in the comment section. Do you like how these look? Why or why not? And with that being said, let's move on to the tech specs so we can learn a little bit more about the overall performance. As far as performance is concerned, the Legend 5 is actually my personal favorite shoe at the moment. For those that are longtime watchers of the channel, you probably already know this. I made a video on this several months ago. It's actually titled My Personal Favorite Soccer Cleats. If you want to just do a quick search and watch it. I kind of go into detail as to why this is my personal favorite, but just to quickly summarize as to why that is, basically what I like about this shoe is the fact that it's very simple and just feels very comfortable to me. I'm generally a fan of leather shoes, very simple designs, and that's kind of what you're getting here with the Legend 5. A lot of people will argue that this is the most comfortable shoe from Nike, and for me personally, I would agree with that, but comfort is a very much an opinionated thing that spreads itself across several different categories. It's hard to say that this is the most comfortable shoe because it really depends on what type of feel that you actually like. I'm not going to say that this is more comfortable than something like a Vapor 10, because the Vapor 10, you can still achieve a comfortable fit, but it's a completely different type of fit and feel on your feet, if you know what I mean. So it really depends on, again, what you like, what your personal preferences are, that really determine what's going to be most comfortable for you. If you're looking for something that is soft and padded and obviously made from a natural leather material, then yeah, the Legend 5, definitely a very comfortable shoe. As far as touch is concerned, obviously you're getting a majority upper of kangaroo leather, or the majority of the upper is made from kangaroo leather, and the quality is really good. You can see it scatters basically from where you don't see the paint splatters forward. So all of that is made from a very soft premium kangaroo leather material. It has some good thickness to it. It's, like I said, very soft and flexible from right out of the box, but give it a couple hours of wear time and you'll find that it softens up even more, stretches to the shape of your foot, and again, has the general feel of a traditional kangaroo leather soccer shoe, which is kind of what you want if you're buying something like the Legend 5. It also does have a Hyper Shield liner. You can see the branding right there, which essentially is a honeycomb-based mesh liner, similar to what we saw as the main mesh material that was the base for the Nike Skin upper on the Hypervenom Phantom 1. The concept behind the liner is that instead of having a solid material, you have an open mesh, which is going to be a little bit lighter. It's a little bit more comfortable against your foot, I find. It doesn't restrict the flexibility of the upper. It also lets it dry a little bit more quickly because it's not locking in any moisture. And it also does seem to do a good job of maintaining the shape of the shoe. They don't really overstretch like some leather shoes will. So really, really good kind of little innovation that they've incorporated onto the Legend 5 that isn't going to take away from the kind of traditional feel that this shoe is all about, but at the same time it does have that little bit of a modern element to it that is pretty much exclusive to the Tiempo line, at least the Legend 5 and the Victory, the Legacy, sorry. You are also going to find ACC, All Conditions Control, as your kind of wet control element on this shoe. Is it a major player in the grand scheme of things? Not really. It's not going to impact your experience in any significant way, but it's there and it is worth mentioning, of course. The laces run through the middle of the shoe, as you guys can see. The tongue is made from a thinner synthetic material, which I wish it was leather or at least something a little bit more padded, but they did put a memory foam pad running through the middle of the shoe, so I guess it kind of makes up for it. Nothing special with the tongue, but it doesn't really bother me either. It does have an internal plastic heel counter at the back. Pretty standard cut as far as soccer cleats go, not too high, not too low. On the inside, it is a smooth synthetic leather, perforations at the very back of the heel. Decent amount of padding there. Again, no major issues with discomfort, even during the break-in process. The insole, fully removable. It features a mesh liner on top, perforations throughout. It's made from a solid layer of this yellow foam material. Then you're going to find pour-on foam inserts in the heel, forefoot, and kind of big toe area. So you get a pretty good amount of underfoot cushioning from the stock insole here in the Nike Tiempo Legend 5. And then moving on to the Soleplate and stud pattern, it's a pretty standard TPU plastic construction. It's actually really the only shoe from Nike, other than maybe the Opus, that has a very, very flexible sole plate that is made from a more traditional type of plastic. And you're gonna find that this shoe just feels very natural from the get-go. It doesn't really get more flexible over time, but like I said, it doesn't have much restrictedness to it in terms of just flexing forward. So they feel very kind of natural when you're running in them. That's kind of the best way to describe it. You will find that, of course, it does have the Tiempo stud pattern that features bladed studs in the heel, mostly conical studs in the forefoot. At least the 8 main studs are conical in shape, 2 bladed support studs in the middle, and 1 at the very tip of the toe. It's a stud pattern that looks fairly unimpressive or not very modern, but it actually works really, really well. One of my personal favorite stud patterns to use, actually, out of pretty much everything out there. The conical studs have a decent length to them as far as firm ground shoes go, and the studs themselves aren't too big either, so they dig into the ground quite nicely and provide pretty good bite. So if you're looking for a good blend of kind of traction and that freedom to twist and pivot because of their rounded shape, the Nike Tiempo stud pattern certainly will not let you down. The only thing to consider with this particular sole plate is because it is on the thinner side, not necessarily at first, but over time, as the insole and the sole plate starts to break down. If you do play on harder natural grass playing surfaces, stud pressure in the forefoot area at least can start to become an issue, but if you tend to play on nicer fields, like I said, this is something that you probably will never have a problem with throughout the lifespan of the shoe. So that is pretty much it in terms of tech specs and performance elements that you should know about the Legend 5. And next we're going to move on to a quick weigh-in so we can see how lightweight these guys are. In terms of weight, I think a lot of people assume the Legend 5 weighs a lot more than it actually does, just based on the type of shoe that it actually is. But in reality, it's very similar in weight to a lot of high-end synthetic shoes that are currently on the market. So I'm going to weigh this pair for you today in real time. Keep in mind this is a brand new pair in a size 9.5 US. We're going to throw them on the scale, and you can see that they weigh in at 8.1 ounces, the equivalent of 230 grams. So for comparison's sake, the first shoe that pops into my mind that's pretty much the exact same weight as these things is the Adidas X15.1, which is a shoe that most people consider to be pretty light. And like I said, these things have the exact same weight as those. So if you wanted something that had a softer, more traditional kind of leather type feel on your foot, you can get that with the Legend 5, but you don't necessarily have to take on the extra weight that would normally be associated with this type of shoe. All right, so here is a look at the Legend 5s on feet. On my left foot, I have the stock black laces that come with the shoes, and on my right foot, I have a pair of neon yellow with black dots SR4U replacement laces. If you're interested in a pair of replacement laces for yourself, the website to go to is www.soleplate.com. www.sr4ulaces.com. You'll find a direct link to that website down below in the description of this video. Now, in terms of how these things fit and feel on feet, they are very comfortable from right out of the box and get even better after some wear time. Like any natural leather shoe, they soften up and of course will stretch and form to the shape of your foot. And considering that the majority of this upper is actually made from natural kangaroo leather, you're gonna get stretch pretty much everywhere. So when you do get these, it's very important that they fit you pretty snug from right out of the box, because if they are a little bit too big or very big on your feet, you may run into issues with them overstretching in the long run. So just keep that in mind, not necessarily just with the Legend 5, but with any leather shoe, period. You just want them to fit snug from the get-go, because like I said, they are going to expand over time. In regards to width, because of the general shape of the shoe as well as the leather upper, it is pretty much the widest option on offer from Nike, aside from maybe the Nike Premier, which I would argue is a little bit wider, but these are going to be suitable for just about everybody. So if you do have wide feet, leather shoes in general are a pretty safe bet, and the Legend 5 is no different. In regards to sizing, this is where things get a little bit weird. Normally you would think to go down in size because the upper is going to stretch, but actually these run a half size small. So instead of wearing my usual size 9 US, I bumped it up to a 9.5, and the fit and the length is absolutely perfect. So if you are looking to order a pair of Tiempo Legend 5s, I would strongly recommend going a half size up in order to achieve the best possible fit in the length. Alright guys, that is it for my review of the Electro Flare Nike Tiempo Legend 5. Again, if you're looking for more info on this shoe, be sure to check out the review page on my website. That'll be the very first link down below in the description of this video. On that page, you will find high quality images of this exact pair that I took myself that'll give you a better idea as to how these actually do look in person. You'll find a written review, and you'll also find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes where you'll be able to pick these guys up below their normal $200 retail price. So again, if you're interested in a pair, first link down below, go ahead and check it out. If you have any questions at all regarding the Legend 5, leave them down below in the comment section, and I definitely will get an answer out to you. If you enjoyed today's video, found it helpful and informative, be sure to support it with a like. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all my social media information down below in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video, and as always, thanks for watching.